Shaka, to ring in the new week than yelling at a referee. Mark Clattenburg is going to stop by.
That's what they're there for.
To defend all the controversial refereeing decisions from the past weekend. But we've got to start at the top of Ligue 1 because that's where PSG clinched a 10th all-time title in the French top flight over the weekend, despite dropping points. However, that's not the real story. No, the story is that the reports out of Paris breaking overnight that Mauricio Pochettino is going to be sacked imminently. For more on this, we call on Julien Laurent and Stuart Robson. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Jules, I'll start with you. Is this true? Is this the end of the Poch era at PSG?
Yeah, I don't think it's imminent as in now. I think he will finish the season, but it's very unlikely now that he will be there next season, despite still having a year left on his contract. I think the way the season went, despite the title, obviously in Ligue 1, the football that the team has played, despite all the players that he had at his disposal, was very underwhelming, very disappointing. And I think the club seeing the season as not a really good one overall. And that's why he won't. I'd be very surprised if he was still there next season, let's put it that way. I haven't got it confirmed yet by the club that they're going to get rid of him and of his staff, but it looks very likely that he won't be there. Whether they can get Zinedine Zidane on the bench, Antonio Conte, I don't know, whoever they want. But it seems that you're right, the Poch era, after 18 months more or less, is coming to an end.
Jules, you mentioned Antonio Conte. That's for me the really interesting part of this report, that he has offered his services, a 2-year contract to PSG. Is that what PSG wants? Would he be their first choice?
No, the first choice will be Zinedine Zidane. He's been for months now, even since the fall, really, when the concrete negotiation started, when Pochettino wanted to go to Manchester United and PSG thought, okay, we can let you go, but we need Zidane to come in and replace you. That could not happen. Pochettino stayed. We saw what happened after that. But Zidane is still the priority. He's still the number one target. He's still thinking about it. He's got a lot of contact with the club. He knows the Qatari people really well. But in the back of his head, there's also the national team. He knows that he will be the next France head coach. The problem is he doesn't know when that will arrive, because he doesn't know when Didier Deschamps, and none of us do, not even Deschamps himself, when he will step down. He's got an incredible generation. There's a World Cup to come and then the Euros. So this could still be a long time for Zidane to wait. Why not take PSG now and then take over the national team? So he's still thinking about it. If Zidane said no, then I think Conte, who is clearly quite keen, although his camp has saying like, well, it's not completely true. I think it is true. And he will be among the shortlist, of course. The problem for PSG is that if Zidane said no, then apart from Conte, there's not many managers that they could go to try to win the Champions League. And I'm not even sure that Conte would be the right guy, because he's someone who's always failed in Europe, for example. So why would he bring the Champions League to the club?
Robbo, you love Antonio Conte. I wonder what you make of all this. The fact that he's potentially, if true, we have to say that, these are reports, offering his services to PSG while under contract with Spurs, and potentially think about going to PSG when he's not even the first choice there. What do you think of it?
Well, it's not great news for Spurs, is it? They're trying to get into the top four, and you've got your manager offering his services somewhere else. And as Jules said, I'm not sure he's going to be a good fit at PSG if he went there, because he's somebody that is very dictatorial in the way he wants his team to play. He wants his star players to toe the line and do what he wants them to do. You've got some difficult players he's going to have to deal with. You know, Zidane, as when he was at Real Madrid, is a good man manager. He lets the players go and express themselves. I don't think he's a top tactical coach, but he's a manager that allows the players to go and play, makes them feel happy. Antonio Conte is completely the opposite. And I don't think it would work with him at PSG.
The boys on the show yesterday, Shaka, called it disrespectful. You agree? You think this could be real damaging, as Robbo points out, to Spurs kind of in the moment right now, this top four chase?
Absolutely. It's disrespectful on a number of levels that PSG are pursuing a manager who's in a job, and even more concerningly, that manager seems to be the one doing the reaching out, or starting the reaching out. I don't understand that at all, given the climate around football and players and managers under contract. I'm with Jules and Stuart on this. I'm not sure that Antonio Conte is the right fit. We could sit here and say, well, PSG's issues has been around defensive responsibility, and Antonio Conte may be the man to come in and deal with that. But just in terms of how PSG play, the personnel they have right now, I don't see how the current staff, the current playing staff, and Antonio Conte make this work.
Jules, what about Mauricio Pochettino in all this? What do we suppose would be next for him? We've seen the links back to Spurs. Is that a realistic opportunity?
I mean, I would be amazed, I have to say, if he went back. I don't think it would be a good thing for him, because I mean, it's just me, but I don't like those return to and those romantic stories of, hey, let's pick it up where we left it kind of thing. He left for a reason. He left because things were not good between him and Daniel Levy, because he arrived at the end of a cycle. I'm not sure he's ready now to start another cycle. I'm not even sure that Spurs right now want to start a new cycle. They need to build on what they have, and I'm not really sure where he fits in that. The problem is he wanted the Manchester United job. We know that for sure. He got interviewed for it. He didn't get it. He failed. They prefer Ten Hag, and they appointed Ten Hag now. So what's next for him if he doesn't stay in Paris? Well, he will get a very nice check to start with, and a lot of money as compensation, which can, keep him on holidays for a few months. But then he will surely want to go back to management. But where? The Premier League. But right now, if you look at who could be looking for a manager, this is not clubs of, I guess, that he would want to coach. So it'd be very interesting to see where he goes. But I do think that the season, despite the Ligue 1 title, his season at PSG hasn't tarnished his image or what he's capable of, but certainly showed a few doubts, maybe, and a few limits.
Robert, to that point, where is Pochettino's stock right now coming off this PSG experience?
Well, not as high as when he went to PSG, because they didn't do particularly well as in the Champions League. That second half disaster against Real Madrid. They haven't played great football, as Jules has said. When he was the manager of Southampton, when he was the manager of Spurs, everybody liked him because of the style of football, the high pressing, the expansive football going forward. They haven't seen that at PSG with all the players they've got. So at the moment, I think his reputation has just gone down a little bit. He's going to have to rebuild it somewhere. But where that is, I'm not sure.
Do you think Spurs would be a good spot?
I think Spurs right now is the only spot. But I'm with Jules again. I am against Pochettino. I just don't like the look of Pochettino.
Nobody on this show is romantic. I mean, nobody wants to see a homecoming.
We're just realistic. I'm not sure that we've ever seen that work. A manager sacked unceremoniously, as he was at Spurs, goes to PSG, his stock goes up, and then all of a sudden plummets over the last 12 months. Some 3 managers later, Spurs are trying to get Pochettino back, given how they parted ways first time of asking. I just don't see why it works. But again, to Jules' point, right now, if Spurs decided to part company with Antonio Conte right now, who comes in? If PSG decides to sack Pochettino right now, where does he go? And I don't think that there are any other answers. So it might end up, by default, us being default romantics to your question, Semi. But I'm just not sure that it's as romantic an ending to this story.
Jules, from a French perspective here, I thought it was very interesting that in the last game for PSG, the boos were really targeted, it seemed like, at least social media reports, towards Pochettino. Do they blame him more than the players at PSG for this season and the failures?
I don't think if they blame him more. I think they roasted the players for a long time. And let's not forget that the Ultras especially left the ground before the end to celebrate the title outside because they didn't want to celebrate with their own players. So the players still very much at the heart of the protest. I think the boost for Pochettino, as we mentioned the other day on the show, there's a few things. One is the football has been dreadful, let's be honest here. Considering the players that he has, it's been poor for most of the season. Secondly, he had some weird comments again, and I think his communication again at times has let him down. Basically saying, "Oh, I've got a contract. It's not about what I want to do or my desire. It's just a contractual situation." It's not really what you want to hear if you're a fan of a football club. You want your manager to be committed, to be engaged, to want to be here. And clearly, I don't think Pochettino wants to be in Paris next season anyway. And then the third one, there's some fans who thought that because the title was won a few weeks ago, because of that terrible exit in the Champions League, it was time to play some of the kids. We've got in Paris an amazing academy with really, really talented youngsters, 16, 17, 18, you don't have to start them all and all playing 90 minutes. But surely a lot of fans felt that he could have given them some game time, even in Ligue 1, or certainly more than he did. And I think that was also part of the boost towards Pochettino.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.